Here we go. In this video I'm going to show you, we're going to take off these 4 bolts and take that single front tire off, because if you saw in my other videos, I got a crack right there. So while I'm welding that up and getting that fixed, then we're here. This is the roll-o-matic and tires that I rebuilt, put back together, and that's what I'm going to be putting on here. And in the meantime, we'll get to see which we like more. Single front tire, which is kind of unique, or these 2 front tires on a roll-o-matic. The main thing I'm interested in seeing is if it's easier to steer with the 2 front tires rather than the 1, because this is, if you're not moving, this is nearly impossible to steer. And I know that all old John Deeres are kind of that way, but this one is, I mean, you look around, we've got plenty of tractors here, and this is by far the most difficult to steer. I mean, right back there, we've got an A, we've got a 44A, we've got another 48A. This is a 48. And both of those A's, I mean, they're the same weight and everything as this, but those things steer so much easier than this. And I wonder if it's because I've got worn gears up here, which I've taken them apart and I've re-greased everything. So is it because something like that? Or is it just because I just got one big, huge tire scrubbing the ground? And, you know, as opposed to 2 that are next to each other that can kind of pivot. That's my thought. So it'll be kind of an experiment at the same time. So anyway, let's get to doing that. I'm going to jack the tractor up, put that on jack stands on the front, and then take those 4 bolts off, and then we'll get going from there. One thing I wanted to do before I switch this out was measure the height. I'm curious if the height changes with this big single front tire versus the roll-o-matic with those 2 16-inch rims. So the height right now, the overall height is 68 inches. So that's 5'8". Or if I just go, I'm going to measure off of this bolt. That is, to the center of this bolt, 62 and 5/8. Okay, we'll see if the height changes. Okay, here it is, front end all put on. It took 49 minutes. Let's check the height and see if there was any height change. Now, the overall height is 66 and a half. And the height of this is 61 and a half. So if I remember correctly, I think that means it dropped 1 inch in height.
Dropped 1 inch. Huh.
So we just got that front end on, and I was talking about whether or not it would be easier to steer. This is so much easier. Like, so easy. All the way to one side.
Okay, it's been a month since I was here last and since we put that new front end on my tractor. And all I had time to do was just put the front end on, and then I had to go back home. But now I want to go out and take it for a test drive with that new front end on it, that roll-o-matic. So I'm going to start up. We got some tractors in the way. The 430's there. I'll start that, move that. 70 is here. I'll start that, move that. Then I can start my tractor. It's probably been about, probably 6 months, 5-6 months since I even started mine. I don't know if you can hear me over this engine. This is probably one of our best running tractors. Oh, excuse me, not reverse. It's got nice power steering. I've put a couple of videos of this up online before, but not many. I should probably do some others. To shut this down, so you pull your throttle back. That's low idle right there, and then what we'll do is we'll pull this out, pull this all the way back, and then as it's shutting down we always pull the compression release. Okay, so I'll do that right now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that with everything going. So there that goes. Okay, with this running, now let's go out for a drive. Let's see how that front end works. I was gonna drive out in the field, but we just got 2 inches of rain, and I don't want to mess up my dad's hay. So we'll just drive it down along the road. Put it in gear here. It's going first. It is different. I mean, so far it feels the same, but it is different looking up there and seeing your tire. You know. Drive down. Throw it in high. I mean, as you would expect, driving it, there's no difference right now. We won't really be able to tell if the front is bouncy or any more bouncy or less bouncy. I mean, until we go out into a field and brake with it or do something with it. But we'll drive it down here into the gravel pit for a minute and see what it's like. Ooh, I can tell already my steering is really loose. I need to tighten that up. Not something I noticed when I had the single tire on the front. Now that I've got 2, that does wobble back and forth a lot. First thought, I definitely need to tighten up the steering, so that's easy. I'll just pop this off and I'll adjust that up in there. Other than that, it's definitely a different look, but I'm excited. I'll try this out for a couple seasons, maybe just 1 or 2, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But I'm excited for it.